give this new person great responsibility to be raised to higher faithfulness. It doesn't work. Maybe if we make him a deacon, he'll be faithful. No, you'll have an unfaithful deacon. They don't come every Sunday, but if we make them a teacher, they will have to. Is that a reason to come? Timothy needed to train and experience and just grow in grace. Luke 16:10 says, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much." A submissive mind, a servant's mind. What a statement. What a sad statement. Paul was in prison looking for someone on the outside to send to Philippi. There are many Christians at Rome at this point. He mentions 26 of them by name in Romans chapter 16. But no one is willing to go. They all seek their own. Plenty could go, but they're too wrapped up in themselves. And like Paul was going through the church directory, but couldn't find the right person. So many people is wrapped up in their own agenda. So many people are wrapped up in their own things. But just like I've said many times, what about that preacher that got down on his knees and said, "God, why me?" And he just used a third person that I call. What an eye-opening event, and what an eye-opening thing to realize there's other people that could receive the exact same things you received, but none of them has done it. So many people could walk in the areas that you have walked and have been blessed to do through God. But too many says, "No, God, send someone else." And you say, "I would never tell God no." Isn't that what you're doing when you don't do what God wants you to do? Hidden cameras show where they had laid a person in the street or an alley needing help as the master just walked by. What a picture of what Paul must have felt. Timothy had a servant's heart, required to go, and he cared for people. Do you care? One of the greatest needs, just like kids. Timothy's name is mentioned 24 times in the New Testament, and he's willing to go here and there in the ministry. And in God's time, it was Timothy who was chosen to replace Apostle Paul when he went on to heaven. What an honor. God has called each and every one of us today. God has chosen us for a purpose, and he has a plan for each one of our lives. And what a great honor it is to serve God today. In my ministry, there's been a lot of ups, and there's been a lot of downs. There's been a lot of trials, there's been a lot of tribulations. But what a privilege it is to be here today and tell you that it's a privilege. To tell you that I have lived life with no regrets, knowing that what I have been through has made me the person I am today. It has been a great honor to serve God today. It's been a great honor to do what God's called me to do, and that's what you need to do and say today. Consider it an honor that God has called you. Consider it a blessing that God has called you. And let's begin to want to do what God wants you to do today. I could have fought and clawed my way up the ladder much more quickly, but God resists that spirit but gives grace to the humble and advances us when he sees fit. Proverbs 25:7 says, "For it is better that it be said unto thee, Come up higher, than thou should be put into lower in the presence of the prince whom eyes have seen." Just be faithful and have a servant's heart of a Timothy. Have a servant's heart today. Don't rush things, and just begin to do things in God's honor today. And count it a privilege today what God has done in your life and what God's going to continue to do in your life today.